So I think what's important is if you're going to do something, like anything worth doing is worth doing well. And even prospecting, even booking calls, it takes time and money and energy. And if you don't know how to solve a real problem, if you don't know how to connect and communicate with other people, sales is going to be a really rough deal. Prospecting is going to be insanely time consuming. It's not going to yield any fruit, and you're going to be pretty frustrated and go broke. Okay, today we're going to talk about short form video. This is YouTube Shorts. This is Reels on Instagram, on TikTok. Facebook Pages is pumping. This year, if you listen to Gary Vee, he's been talking about, hey, pay attention to Facebook Pages. They're going to be distributing a lot more attention on that. I've heard mixed things. I'm like, cool, Gary sounds awesome. He's usually ahead of the curve. Let's go to top influencers and see what results in like engagement they're getting on those platforms. But generally, these social media platforms will all allocate more engagement and distribution for the tools that they want people to use to incentivize, of course, right? So we're keeping an eye on that trend. All right. AKA shorts or reels. All right. So Wealthy Creator is the workshop, Ryan Pineda's thing. He's got a whole like two, three handfuls of companies, and one of them is Wealthy Creator. And then I think he has a media company that's also doing like the services to repurpose video and has some pretty talented editors. All right. So at this workshop, I learned a handful of things. In fact, I took 15 pages of notes, of which you guys will get access to. I'll share just the exact notes that I took. You'd be so proud of me. They are very organized, unlike many things in my life, but not this one. So yeah, on the left-hand side here, you can see my arrow. This is when I just started typing, but it has like each session outlines. You can just like click and go right to the section you want. And then this is a huge recommendation. Going to a lot of events over the years, it's like I just write down what I hear. It's like active listening kind of. And then as they're saying something, you can see this little box right here to the right. Do you guys see that? In a Google Doc, and you can do this on paper or however you want to do it, but in a Google Doc, you can highlight and leave a comment, right? Those are my takeaways. So as I'm doing it, I'll like highlight the takeaways, and here's the thing I need to remember. So I don't have to go back and reread all the notes and remember the epiphany thing that I was inspired by. You guys ever do that? Like you leave an event, your head's spinning, you're like, it was so good. And like, what are you going to do? It's like, I have no freaking clue. And you're like, dang it. Why did I just spend all this time and money for 3 days doing the thing? All right. So to eliminate all that, I was like, here's the simple takeaway, and it's easy for me to process all the notes. You guys have access to all that, which will be really useful. All right. So I think what's important is if you're going to do something, like anything worth doing is worth doing well. And even prospecting, even booking calls, it takes time and money and energy. And if you don't know how to solve a real problem, if you don't know how to connect and communicate with other people, sales is going to be a really rough deal. Prospecting is going to be insanely time consuming. It's not going to yield any fruit, and you're going to be pretty frustrated and go broke, right? Content is no different. Words that sell, whether it's on a phone call or content, are insanely powerful. That's essentially the skill to harness. So I like to go, and Sean does the same thing. We want to go to the best. Where is the outcome that we want already happening every single day? Well, fortunately, Ryan's office is like 10 minutes from our house. So that's just kind of a bonus. But I didn't know that at the time. And I was like, holy crap, this is in Vegas. Oh my gosh, this is right by our house. Fantastic. I guess I don't have an objection now. I'm going. So we went there. And we're going to go through the 3 takeaways. So I've summarized all the notes. You guys can look through all the other detail, but I wanted to give you a couple bullet points really as it pertains to our context. Let's start with the sales process. The sales process is pretty simple. You're leaving a short, you're harvesting attention, and then you're bringing them to DMs. Generally, we're talking about importing or outreaching generally in these sessions, and then that leads to DM, that leads to call. This is a leveraged way if you can get the attention, and then sending them through the same process. what would this look like? Well, simply put, if you have somebody, it starts with a call to action, which is typically a DM keyword. How many funnels have you guys, or like shorts have you seen, or, keywords that you've messaged? Have you guys done that before? Is there any recent one that you guys have done that you liked by chance? No. Okay. No worries. I always like to ask, like, oh, I just went through this funnel and he did this or she did that. And okay, it's always fun to geek out on a little bit. All right. So you DM a keyword. Now, if you make shorts that are saying DM this keyword, like the same keyword or even different keywords, every single video, people, you're, as Ryan and the team described, you're going to lose attention, right? Don't sell all of the time. In fact, don't like hard sell. He gets into this thing about how he soft sells, but about 1 to 3, you can write that down. 1 to 3 is the magic ratio. So every 3 pieces of content, you'll have one that is a soft sell with a CTA call to action. I'll get into more of what the soft sell means in a second. And then they land in the DMs. Obviously, this is where we're nurturing, building conversation, relationship, and then inviting to a call generally. But you can invite them to your VSL. You can invite them to your website or invite them to your virtual event, etc. From here, you'd be importing from DMs. So people can like and comment, you can import from there, but generally it's going to be like, hey, DM me keyword. So they're there. You import from your DM with DM message inbox with FlowChat, and then you can continue on the conversation, leveraging the pipeline. Okay. So that's the simple sales process. Goal is just to get their attention and start building relationship. This can be a highly leveraged way to do it. As you build personal brand across the social assets, Ryan will do a video, and the dude can just like fill a room. Like he didn't even he had over 100 people in there. Everyone paid at least $1,000, and then he upsold everyone. He's definitely not like here's the webinar, here's all the emotional hooks. Like, he's just like, here's the deal. Like, take it or leave it. He's just a like pretty straightforward approach or delivery style. But it still works. He didn't email his list really, like he didn't pump it really hard. He just did a couple of posts, a bunch of leads came in, sold the event, and done. I was like, that's pretty powerful. So, okay, that part was cool. Second takeaway, let's talk about the creation process so that we don't get stuck on this too much. For the creation process, we got to watch him and his team work live. This was my favorite part, because things happened that I didn't expect. I'm not going to lie. Before I went to this event, I just went to all of his social profiles, screenshotted all of them, built a digital whiteboard like in Miro, laid it all out. I looked at his descriptions. I looked at how long his videos were, what he was saying. I'm like, I'll just go recreate this process. Even if you're like watching and observing him and his team with a fine-tooth comb, there's something I never would have picked up on had I not been there. The amount of creative, here's some of the takeaways. Did not realize how much creative energy went into these things. Oh my gosh. Let me describe this to you. Just for the hook, like the first 3 seconds, okay? That's where he spends majority of the time. And to watch the brainstorming in the room, and you can recreate this with your teams, with friends and family, with entrepreneur circles. If you're creating and writing shorts by yourself or even other copy, after watching this, I was like, and I even came back, I was like, Sean, we're changing, we call it BBT, Business Build Thursday. It's like when we're like working on the business on certain things, like this needs to be in that cadence. I know we both can write copy. We shouldn't be doing all of it alone. Because what happens is someone drops a really good idea or a decent framework, and then someone's like, wait, what if we did this way? And you feel everyone be like, whoa, yeah, that part was awesome. And then someone comes in with like one more line that said it just perfect. And you're like, oh, that was it. And like all of that creative energy and brainstorming is really hard to replicate by yourself when you're thinking about 10 other things while you're traveling, while your kids are spilling juice on you, like, I don't know, it's like when all this other things are going on. And I was like, do you know what just happened? I just watched all the other people that will be scrolling essentially and will keep scrolling because they weren't interested. All these other people, we finally heard what's going to stop their scroll live. We curated before we posted. A lot of times we post a test and we're guessing, but they got to curate theirs. So it's no wonder that when they post and post and post, it's hit, 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 right? That's just for the hook. And then they do the same thing for the body, for topics, for thumbnails, for other things, which we'll get in here in just a second. There's the call to action, how you're doing the call to action. So it's really cool. Here's a little fun hack. To get more content. I mean, this guy, they're publishing 6 to 7 shorts per platform per day. They're a media company. Like they're cranking it out. And you know, Gary V's, I don't know, does a gajillion. But they're doing multiple hooks. So they'll pick a topic first, and then they'll get into, roughly like what direction that might go as far as the body. And then they're like, okay, how do we make this interesting? How do we, what is the first 3 to 5 second hook? But they'll make multiple, and then they'll take the top 2 or top 3, and then they'll drop that hook, and then they'll still say the same body. That way you get 3 shorts with only 1 topic. You guys with me on that? They won't post those on the same day, but it allows them to throw different headlines and still drive people towards the direction they want to drive. You guys want to see this happen real time? So I recorded it. He. Ryan wouldn't care. He'd be like, thanks for talking about me to everyone, so more people know I exist and I'm awesome. So sweet. And then, so this is like 5 minutes. We're not going to sit here for 5 minutes because I'm going to get bored. But here, let's watch this part.
So here's how we also film too, and this is how we're going to film tomorrow. So what we do is we get 2 hooks, and then we have the same content. So those were like all 3 completely different hooks. We should do all 3. We are going to do all 3. Those were all really good. Kudos to you guys.
Keep coming.
Yeah. So what we're going to do though is I'm going to film all 3 of those hooks, and then we're going to use the same body for those hooks.
Okay, so there you go. He's just kind of reiterating that same point. Let's go to the next marker here. So he's going to go in and film him.
Recently, I attended a workshop at Grant Cardone's office, and I was so inspired that I built my own, and it cost me over $100,000. Okay, that's hook 1. What was hook 2 again? Who remember? Okay, all right, here we go.
So everyone's brainstorming.
I kicked out all of my employees in my office so that I could turn it into an even bigger money-making machine. Here's what I did. All right, that's 2.
All right, pretty cool, right? So it's like he's pulling the top and then he just drops it. Notice he's not filming the whole thing. He's just filming the hook, right? All right, so let's go to the next part. 3:30. Is this cool to see? Cool. Let's see, 3.
Building out the desk and all the things behind the scenes. So this is also, guys, this is what I like to do on Reels. Like I stop speaking, like I speak 1 sentence at a time, and then I think about the next thing, because the last thing you want to do on Reels is be super long-winded and like feel like you have to keep the flow going. Like, no, just speak 1 sentence at a time. It's totally cool. And if you mess up, repeat the sentence. Even if you said the right thing, but you didn't like your energy, or you maybe stumbled on a word, just say it again, clean, okay? Now I forgot what I said because I was explaining to you guys.
All right, so that was that part. And then the last part that I wanted you guys to see was right here. Okay, so you can just pause, keep going, and then you'll chop it up in editing anyway.
And the reason I did is because I knew I was going to hold events like this one where I'm actually filming this video live. And people have paid thousands of dollars to attend this event, and we're already going to make our return back in just the first day. And also, we're able to go rent this out on the weekends for a premium when we're not even using the office. So even though I had to get rid of all of my employees and all the cubicles and everything else, this workshop space is a better use of the space. I don't like that ending. I'm gonna say it one more time. So even though I had to kick out my employees to get this space ready, it's gonna make us way more money than they would have in here. That's the real, guys.
All right, so there you go. So so he's just messing up in front of everyone, but you gotta love that he's like actually doing the task and the assignment while teaching everyone that paid him to be there. It's like, That's a good use of time right there. Well played. Okay. So that's what it looks like real time, the creation process. He's got team, filming, and then multiple people contributing to the copywriting. All right, let's keep flowing here. Almost done. Writing a short. How can we make this a little bit easy? I understand that all of us aren't going to be able to replicate what we just saw. And me looking at that, having a team, I was like, okay, this is what we're competing with. Damn it. But here's like a next step that we can take in the direction. So I built a little process around this. So I just opened up a Google Doc. I was like, I need to start building this specific form of copywriting where, hey, we're basically going to be sharing like 5 to maybe 10 sentences. You can record those, but you want to have the right hooks in place and everything. So I was like, okay, what's this a simple format? Well, the first one is topics. Okay, this is where they started, and they just started listing out what's even interesting to talk about. And generally, a great place to go is to go to our sales calls. What are the pain points and the questions that we're getting on those calls? Man, so like on ours, for example, lead gen. Hey, this is kind of a problem. This is kind of painful. Let's talk about generating leads. Let's talk about quality of leads. Let's talk about all those things. Those are going to be great topics because I already know our market that are going to be interested in our stuff. Ask those type of questions. To generate topic, go to pain. And then those are going to be the things that the people you want to draw towards you. All right. I just want to keep that one simple. Write the body. Sometimes you can do the hooks. Sometimes you can write the body. We watch them kind of go back and forth on that one. But let me give you some simple frameworks on when you're communicating for 30 to 50 seconds, essentially in the body. Here are the 3 steps to success, right? It's always that framework of like, here's 3 things you can do. Here's 3 questions you can ask. Here's, the 3 steps of the methodology, whatever. Another big one is, authority story. So not just for yourself, giving yourself authority, but like referencing an authority figure. It's kind of like a, shout out type of hack. Like, whoa, he leveraged Grant Cardone's name. That was like one of my suggestions I threw out, during that process. And that way, you can pull some of his audience, and that's in the headline. So leveraging someone else's authority. All right. New head turning fact, something that just grabs attention. That's, AI is definitely in that bucket right now. You can throw that, whatever you were going to say, like, oh, we're talking about lead generation. Well, here's how lead generation is being affected by AI. It's immediately more interesting than just talking about lead generation. And then in the body at the end, you'll end with a call to action. I would do this, even, the 1 to 3 ratio. Well, Chris, what are the other 2? Is it just about personal life? It can be, but generally not. If you go look at his content, there's very little like personal life stuff there. It's more so just like, here's how to do taxes with your business or in real estate, or it's just useful information. It's good to know information, and there's no call to action. What I would recommend is when you're doing other content though, challenge yourself to always have some type of call to action. But the call to action might be like, go read this book, or go listen to this podcast, or you're not selling them anything, but you're training them to always get some type of value, feel motivated, and take action. You're conditioning the response that you want when they're consuming your content. It's for the same reason, when you go to the events, and then they have you go to the back of the room, or back, to the table in Funnel Hacking Live. It's like Russell. It's so strategic in how they do it. Like in the first day or something, they'll do like the philanthropic one, like, hey, here's what we're doing, or it's gonna be this great cause. Go to the back of the room, or hey, whoever wants this type of hack, like you can go to the back of the room and get the PDF for free. Right? He's training you to get up and go to the back of the room, so that when he asks for the close on day 2 and day 3. You're already conditioned, and it's that much easier because you know where to go, who you're going to talk to, and you're going to sell, and he's going to sell more. He's conditioning the behavior that he wants you to do. Anyway, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so much thought that goes into this. All right. Last parts here, play with some hooks. This is the most important part, because if people don't get past this, then they're never going to hear what you're going to say anyway. Right. So hooks are really important. You can name drop, like the authority story stuff we were talking about. You can share big results. Here's how Ryan Veneta did over 20 million last year with shorts. Interesting, right? It's the big result. Emotional words to use, like confronting. I confronted Ryan Pineda about his illegal DM strategy. It's like, what? Like, we've all seen those type of hooks. And then never the same. Like this, it's dramatic. It's before and after. It's contrast. Those type of frames. Disruptive. Like this has never been done before. You've never seen something like this. Watch this before you send your next DM. It's going to be those type of headlines. Those are emotional words, or very shocking. This can be done obviously within hooks, in collaboration with thumbnails, right? So these are powerful to work with. All right, yeah, thumbnails. They spent a decent amount of time around thumbnails too, and it was cool to watch the idea of what the thumbnail would look like in the room. Again, it's just having that creative energy really drive forward, and then it really improves the quality of the content. Here's a couple of pro tips to end. All my iPhone users, I don't know, this might be on Android too, I don't know. But write this down, take a screenshot. Video teleprompter light. Video teleprompter light. I think there's a pro version. I'm just using the free version. This is what it looks like. You can see kind of my picture here in the bottom. This just starts scrolling on your screen, and you want to look as close to the top as you can, so it looks like you're looking at the camera. I would recommend, if you're not doing a ton of shorts, like have someone on your team or whoever your outsourced copywriter is, write these all out. And then when you go to film, like record, like just only record and just blast through them. I wouldn't write and then record and then send. It just, like, in terms of system and production, it's going to be super slow. I'd also recommend writing these out unless you're conditioned, unless you've already done 500 of these or more. I would suggest writing them out. Here's why. Even when you write them out, that doesn't sound quite right. I think this part is a little weak. We can make that a little stronger. If you're editing and you're writing and creating while you're also trying to perform and deliver, those are two different like sides of the brain, and it's just too much at once, and it's going to suck. And it's going to take you 5 times longer. So I'd highly recommend just kind of iron out your thoughts, play with your thoughts. And as you're used to flowing through this form, this medium, this form of content, you'll be able to, like, you'll be at the gas station and you'll see an idea and you'll be like, I just wrote the short in my head. Let me just rip this out real quick. But it's like this thing you got to condition a little bit. So here's the next one. If you're recording these from your desktop, you can use easyprompter.com. I really like this feature, or this, I don't know, tech or website. I just use the free version, and it scrolls towards the top. I highly recommend like making your internet window like really narrow right underneath your camera, so your eyes aren't, it doesn't look like you're watching a tennis match basically. So anyway, these are a couple pro tips for you. I owe you some documents. This is all already posted, just posted 10 minutes ago in the Slack channel, but you guys are here right now. So these are the notes. You can see here, like, here's their process of how, son of a gun. Okay, never mind. We got it. We're good. And then, so I actually included some pictures in here as well. So you can, these are fake numbers, but you can see what numbers they're tracking, like what equals success. You'll be able to see, what else did I put in here? Omar's got some, this is all like equipment stuff, lighting, audio. Hey, I want to spend a bunch of money. Hey, I don't want to spend anything. Here's how to get it done. Here's how to monetize. So there's some really good, powerful topics in here. And then you can see their actual like sales workflow. You can zoom in here and kind of see how they're going through things. And this is their closer one. So yeah, some really great stuff there. And then I also just sharing a couple shorts that I wrote recently, so you guys can have access to this. These are both about 55 seconds long to talk through, but you can see the topics we kind of went through, the stories that we put together, the hooks that we were considering.